That's peculiar. Anyway.
What happened?
Well, my PC froze up harder than it has in the past 2 years.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it's fine now. Or at least it seems to be fine now, though. But yeah, so if you started doing the intro before I said that's peculiar, then I did not hear it. Because it got eaten by the freaking the time stop.
I thought you were doing the intro.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Anyway, welcome everyone.
you asked me. I was like, "Oh, you can handle it this week."
Yeah,
and I thought you.
I misheard you. I misheard you. So welcome everyone. I'm at the hero to enjoy by Pink, and this is the Shut Your Mouth Lounge episode 206.
Indeed. Alex might join at some point or another. We don't know yet.
Yeah, he might, but it's not likely.
Right.
So, Pink, is anything coming out on your channel this week?
Yes, I'll have what will I have coming out? Oh, I'll have more episodes of Civilization 6 coming out. I'm doing a playthrough as Spain, and hopefully I'll get the Khmer done as well. So that's going to be fun for me. And also, I think I have a session of Dead by Daylight with Mike that I have not yet uploaded yet, but I will have to double check on that. Because I might have already sent that one up. I don't remember. I've got stuff somewhere. But yeah. Civilization Dead by Daylight, that should all be coming out on my channel.
Alright. As for me, well, I have been successfully finishing 2 whole videos in the past half a year.
I like it.
The best part is the second video. Like I just want to finish the. I'm working on 3 videos right now. You've seen one of them. I'm probably gonna send the second one to you as well because it's on a topic that you actually have like knowledge on, and I want you to fact check it completely.
Okay. Yes, the great almighty fact checker Pink.
I mean, I sent the Silent Hill 2 review to Dabia to fact check because I was like, well, I played through the game once, but like I don't remember literally everything that happened in those like, I don't know, 12 hours that we played the game together. But yeah, so that's gonna happen, and then I'm working on a third one. That one still needs to finish being scripted. But yeah, that, and then after that, like once I'm done with these 3, the third one I may not send to y'all just because neither of you would be able to fact check it. We'll see. But we'll come back to why I keep sending y'all those videos, by the way, because I actually have an explanation, kind of. But but yeah, after that, I need to also decide on what other games I want to review because I'm trying to make a backlog so I can actually work on reviews now. Like I want to actually upload stuff on the main channel. It's just that doing like editing videos for this channel while also recording, while also just doing stuff on my own, while also freaking like doing stuff like fucking having depressive episodes that makes me not want to do any of it. It's pretty much the reason that I haven't uploaded anything on the main channel properly in like 3 years. Because like when I felt fine, that we recorded stuff together usually, and then like even then, for example, freaking most recently there was like 7 videos worth. I know it was 5 videos worth, but it was a whole months of raw footage that I had to edit in one day because whenever I edit, the PC just doesn't want to work anymore. Like it works, but it's like, so I don't know how it is on your PC because I know that you know how to edit as well. I don't know how an adverse effect it has on your PC, but I've heard from other people using the same software I am using, which is Adobe Premiere. I have heard from other people using the same software, and I can definitely say that in my experience it has done this. That whenever I edit videos on my PC, the performance of the PC is reduced after I'm done like rendering stuff. So like I'll quit out of Premiere, and for the next 3 to 5 hours, the PC runs slower.
Oof.
Yeah. So pretty much, whenever I edit videos, that's why I take into editing stuff in bunches, because things pile up, and it sucks because I spent literally all of Monday editing. Like I woke up at 8 a.m. started editing by 9, and then I was done around 10 p.m. So
Yeah.
because the editing itself took me, I want to say 6 hours, and then just rendering the videos took me another 4 or something stupid like that.
That's a decent amount of time right there.
Yeah. And I have to do things that way, because if I want to do anything on the PC, I can't edit. it's an issue, especially when it sometimes just decides that it doesn't want to like play back the audio properly. But yeah, just freaking just like I have a lot of complaints with Adobe Premiere, and the only reason I'm still using it is because there is no other options I have. Like if you want an editing software, I can recommend you one, because you would be able to use it and it's free. But I can't use it because it requires fucking an actual dedicated video card, which I lack, and my PC just straight up can't. Like my motherboard cannot handle anything higher than what it has built already in it. So if I want to use a different editing software, I'm just gonna have to make a new PC or buy a new PC. But it's not gonna happen on this one.
That's kind of unfortunate, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great spot to be in. But yeah, so that's happening. I'll think over like doing proper series for some of the games that I'll be reviewing after these 3 that I'm done with right now. Because like it could be nice to actually have like series on the second channel as well. Maybe.
Yeah.
And other than that, yeah, that's about it. I don't think there's anything else that I've been really working on. And as for the group channel, we have on Monday, part 11 of Persona 5. Then on not Saturday, fuck, today's Saturday. On this happens every week when I do this list. Usually I just don't actually like say the days. But anyway, so on Tuesday we have Dead by Daylight Part 3, which is the last episode of that one session we did with the 5 of us, I believe.
Nice.
And then on Friday we have Ratchet and Clank episode 29. And that's it.
All right. I like it.
So, Pink, what have you done this week?
Next to nothing.
Nice.
I watched Hawkeye on Disney Plus.
Went bird watching, I see.
It. What's that?
But you went bird watching.
Yeah. Speaking of birds, I almost hit an owl on the way to work on Black Friday. It was weird because, you know, of all the animals that one would expect to maybe come across on the road, you know, an owl probably wouldn't be anywhere near the top of that list.
I mean, have you seen that? Like, okay, I nearly said it with the wrong combination of words, but have you seen their legs? Like, have you seen the sheer length of those legs? That owl was practicing running.
Yeah, they're weird looking little creatures. That is for certain.
What was it? Was it like
what the heck was I talking about?
Hitting an owl.
Okay. Yeah.
Was it a wilder owl, or was it a more tame owl? Like I'm asking it that way because I don't know how the proper way to ask, but I do actually know what sets them apart.
You know, neither do I, but I would say it was quite the wild owl.
Well,
you know,
was its face more like a shovel, or was its face closer to how owls are usually animated?
That is a good question. I wouldn't really be able to tell you because I didn't get a great look at it and it was dark out and my lights were flashing in its face. So,
Yeah,
I could tell that it was an owl. I could not tell you what species it was. Yeah, I just know it was an owl and that it was quite sizable. At the same time, I could have been imagining things and it probably wasn't all that big, but it could have been pretty big. The wingspan looked about I don't know if I were to stretch out my arms, it'd probably be that length or maybe longer. But again, nighttime depth perception is a little off. Lights are refracting off the owl itself, and you can be suspect to optical illusions in quite a few ways with that situation.
yeah,
Plus the adrenaline from slamming on the brakes, going at 45 miles per hour as the owl decides to fly down into the road and just stand there like an idiot. But yeah, aside from that little fiasco there, I watched Hawkeye on Disney Plus. The first two episodes released on Wednesday, and I believe they're doing two episode release intervals every Wednesday leading up to Christmas. I don't know how many episodes there are. I'm just assuming since it's a Christmas show that it'll probably end sometime around there, maybe like week after. I don't know what day Christmas lands on. Pardon me, not week after, week before. I should clarify. Week after would be kind of stupid. And if they had planned it that way, somebody would need to be fired. Let me actually whip out the calendar. When does Christmas fall on this year? 25, a Saturday. All right. Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to be here for that podcast.
I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be the only one on that podcast.
Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah. Now we'll probably have to pre-record that one if you wanna have a podcast,
Yeah, yeah.
or I do it the day after. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, something. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
That is kind of funny that it lands on a Saturday this year. What are the chances? Like 1 in 7. Anyway, Hawkeye has been very good thus far. I've really been enjoying it. I feel like everybody's putting forth a solid performance. I'm not really sold on Kate's mom. I don't really like her actor, and I don't really like the way the character is written because she's either in on the whole scheme or she's just really dumb, and I would not like either scenario really, but
Maybe she's both.
maybe she's both. Yeah. Swordsman is the villain in this series, or at least it looks that way. And I was really excited for that because I did not look into any trailers, teasers, or whatnots leading into the show. I'm going in completely blind. So when he popped up with his fabulous mustache, I was pretty pumped, pretty hyped. That's a decent pull that I would not have expected. And so far with these first two episodes, I feel like there's kind of been an imbalance, or at least while I was watching it, it felt like there was an imbalance of. It felt like we were getting a lot more screen time for Kate Bishop than we were getting for Jeremy Renner, and I don't know. It kind of works, but at the same time, I felt like there was just a bit too much going on with the Kate Bishop, and not enough of Hawkeye himself. Which in these early stages, it's understandable, but still, it felt not quite like a drag, but not quite what I signed up for either.
I mean,
But
maybe Santa will run over.
oh, Santa's got to run over somebody at this point. We
Santa
waited too long
will
for
run
it to
over.
not happen.
Santa will run over the current Hawkeye, and then Kate Bishop will have to become the new Hawkeye because freaking Santa's an evil communist who works for Hydra.
I knew Santa wasn't a communist.
And
Never,
then
never trust a man in a red coat.
And then next Christmas, they do another series for Kate Bishop's Hawkeye, where the whole series is her trying to track down and kill Santa for revenge.
I like it. I like it. Anyway, not a lot else there to really talk about, honestly. It's been solid. It's had some ups and downs, some things I liked, some things I didn't agree with. I love the opening credits. Does a nice way of presenting Kate's origin without really having to hold the audience's hand, which is very good. Something that every show should probably strive for. And yeah, I can't wait for the next episodes.
Nice.
I think that's legit all I was able to do this week. I definitely played some Civilization during Thanksgiving, but who wants to talk about that? Not me. I more or less said my piece at this point with that series.
I mean, the issue with talking Civilization right now is that you would be talking at me, and I don't know anything about
Right. And
Civilization.
he'd be like, yeah, I think that's very interesting. Can we move on now?
I mean, it's like it's not that I don't care. It's partially that just like, okay, it's not that I don't care about what you're talking about. It's that I literally cannot play Civilizations after 3 because they don't run on my PC, and
Right.
I'm just not interested in freaking in the genre to just look up how Civilization works without actually being able to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Funnily enough, though, I have found something that may make things easier on me. So there's so Pink. What if I told you that there's a card game based furry civilization on PS4?
I would be confused, but also slightly intrigued.
I believe it's called Armello, but I'm gonna look it up because I put it on my wish list so that when it goes on sale, the Ultimate Edition, and I have that amount of freaking like money to just throw away on whatever that I may not even like, then I'm just gonna get it because it's weird. It's just not something that I would expect to exist. So I feel like I need, yeah, it's Armello. And I think it may also be on PC, but like if here's my reasoning. I could get Civ 6 on PS4, but if I'm playing Civ 6, then I probably want to download mods eventually.
Right.
And I also own the complete edition of Civ 6 on PC because W bought it for me, even though I told him not to. So I might as well just buy the furry knockoff for PS4 because whatever.
Yeah.
It has
Yeah.
it has some different mechanics. Like once again, I think like from what I understand, it's kind of like Civ 6 was also kind of a card game. And that doesn't intrigue me somewhat because out of all of the roguelikes that I like, all 2 of them, the one I like the more is a card game. Because I feel like it works better with card games because card games are already based on RNG. So losing everything doesn't matter as much when, like, okay, that's another thing. So the 2 roguelites that I play a lot, or I have played a lot, are Slay the Spire and Enter the Gungeon. Enter the Gungeon is a top-down shoot 'em up, pretty much. And Slay the Spire is a card game. It's a deck builder roguelite where you have 3 levels, and then after that you get a stat check pretty much on how good your attacks are in the deck, and then you may win or you may lose. Either way, I get more pissed at Enter the Gungeon because in Enter the Gungeon, you just get a bad run and you just get shitty guns and you can't actually kill anything. And it just feels bad, and you don't really get like you get the ability to get different gun rolls. Like that's the thing that you unlock through going through different runs of the game is you get the ability to have different guns, I guess, but not you always start out with the same setup, which makes sense. And but a lot of the characters are like, it feels like characters are very like built upon the random gun pickups that you get throughout the run. And if you get 2 bad pickups on the first level, then you might as well just restart the run. It feels like. Meanwhile, in Slay the Spire, it's fine because like it feels better because it's less based upon just heals some parts that are like mechanical skill, and here's parts that are RNG. It's all RNG, but you get a base deck, so you can get better runs, but it's over faster because then you just die in 2 turns.
Mm.
Well, not like the third enemy. And you can just start a build, freaking a run faster because you haven't built like really put in that much time or effort into actually doing stuff. Whereas in Enter the Gungeon, you actually need to pay attention to fighting with people or you will die. Because like
Or you die. I like that.
I mean, the thing that I have neglected to mention, which I don't know if you'd know because we haven't played Under the Gungeon yet. Like that's the thing. I own it on both PS4 and PC, so we could technically play it through Steam SharePlay, but I can only run it on PC on the lowest settings. So
Ah.
it would be an interesting thing to try at. Either way, so the thing I am neglecting to mention is that Enter the Gungeon is a top down shoot 'em up, freaking like bullet hell. So, you need to pay attention. You need to get good at dodging shit. Which just makes the veterans that feel that much worse because it's like the contrast between a veteran and a good run is a lot higher than in Slay Spire, pretty much. Because there's runs where you just kill everything in like 2 shots and then you go. And sometimes when you get veterans in Enter the Gungeon, you just keep chipping away at these enemies that don't really want to die or waste out of ammo if they do. And your mechanical skills will eventually fail, regardless of how good you are. Your mechanical skills will eventually fail. You will get hit eventually. And if all you have are shitty guns, and you just don't have the resources to get like more keys and shit to get more guns, then tough luck. But yeah, anyway, Civilization, Pink. What have you done?
What have I done? I was playing as Khmer over Thanksgiving. I had not played them since they got buffed in the final patch for Civilization. And I thought they were kind of a underrated Civ before the patch, and now after the patch, I feel like I would say they're still very underrated because nobody really talks about them as one of the more powerful Civs, but I was able to have a very good game with them with a very small amount of cities. I built tall instead of wide. So I had 3 or 4 cities for most of the game. And I was just racking up a mad amount of faith per turn because their buff made it so that for every population their city has, they will receive 1 faith per population. So if I've got 3 cities of 20 population plus, that's 60 plus faith per turn. In addition to my holy sites with whatever adjacency bonuses they'll get, so that could be potentially 70 or 80 faith per turn from 3 or 4 cities alone. So they're a very good civ for religious victory or maybe even a culture victory if you wanted to go that route. Domination's not bad at all. And with the right buildings or right wonders, anything that you can build that will allow you to purchase things with faith, it's very good because they have such a strong faith income. So in theory, they can veer into whatever kind of victory type they would like to do, just so long as they have a high faith income and the ability to buy their whatever they need for that specific victory type with the faith that they're generating. So, in my opinion, not a super strong Civ, but still a very strong contender and a very underrated one, in my opinion. And I'm quite fond of their play style. And outside of that, my Thanksgiving was just your typical Thanksgiving stuff. We ate food, no pie, unfortunately, until the next day because I had to go to bed. And I went to work on Black Friday, obviously, and almost hit a bird, so that was fun.
Yeah, they all wanted to be substitute turkey.
Right. He was jealous of all the other birds getting the action.
Yeah.
So that wraps things up for me. How was your week, Adhi?
Well, I spent all of Monday, as I've said, editing shit, and I stayed up until 5 a.m. Oh, wait.
That's a fun time.
That was not Monday. Oh, right. Shit, I spent Monday and Wednesday, not Wednesday. When the fuck did I spend? Like, when? Okay, I don't know when it was. Either way. So I spent all of Monday editing stuff. Because I spent all of Monday editing stuff, I was sloppy. And half of the things I edited needed to be re-edited. So during the week, I had to edit videos that I have already edited once again. which made it so at least once I had to be up until like freaking 5 a.m. That was pretty cool. Having to wait until 5 a.m. for the rendering to stop.
Yeah.
It was the day before I posted the prototype for the event compilation.
Ah.
Because that's the thing that, like, what you have to consider. I don't know why I'm telling you this, because you probably already know. But, like, no matter what length a video is, at best, the rendering time takes just as long. So, at best. And, like, I'm saying at best because on my old PC, it used to be that it took twice as long. That fucking sucked. This is workable. Like it's fine. It's fine for a 10-minute video. 10-minute video to freaking to take 10 minutes to be rendered. In my opinion, it stops being fine when it takes a 10-minute video 30 minutes to be rendered.
Yeah, I think we can all agree with that.
But yeah, so I did that. I finished Shadow of War.
Nice.
I uninstalled the game last week because I was like, man, fuck this game. The control, like the overall gameplay loop and the controls just don't jive with me. So fuck this game. And then I re-downloaded it because I was like, I'm not gonna let this game beat me. I'm gonna beat the game instead. So after that, I went and completely alone beat all of Sauron's forces. Well, okay, not all of them, but like because that's literally impossible by the way the game is designed. But what I did, so I quit the game because one of the major mechanics is sieges on castles, and to do that, you go to a region, and then you take out war chiefs. Like, first, in theory, you take out the war chief's man, then you take out the war chief, and then you take out the overlord that sees overall, and then once you've done that, you get to rule over the castle. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go to these regions and then just brainwash orcs so that they will work for you, and you get like amass an army that way, and just put spies in places, and so that they will attack the overlords and stuff like that. But I found that that's the actually like hijacking orcs mechanic was not to my liking. Like I just didn't like doing it when I was under leveled, especially because like then it's a fucking chore. But it's like, okay, so I'm gonna nearly kill this guy. Then I'm gonna spend a freaking like half a second, which is a lot of time when enemies actually attack you, unlike in games like Arkham. But but then I'm gonna just press and hold circle for half a second so I can actually brainwash them, and then I'm gonna shame them so that they will be at the level where I can actually take them over, and then I'm gonna trek to the other side of the map so I can once again beat them until they're nearly dead, so I can brainwash them again, so then they will join me. Because of this, I went to every single because I didn't want to deal with this. I went to every single region under leveled, and then just fucking killed everyone.
Well, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah, so I just murdered all of the freaking all of the war chiefs, and then I marched, and I pretty much like the game spawns orcs on your side regardless of whether or not you actually have orcs in the region. So as far as I'm concerned, I marched every single castle in the game aside from the tutorial one. I marched every single castle in the game. Thing is, like completely alone, and single-handedly killed everyone that was guarding it, and then took them over. Because I just didn't.
I like it.
Because I just didn't want to deal with the actual, like, I didn't want to deal with the actual mechanics of the game because they were presented in such a uninteresting way. And like the Nemesis system, I was actually able to see how the Nemesis system works somewhat, even though I skipped a big chunk of it by not interacting with the hijacking ghosts as much. Because eventually, when people came knocking on my door, trying to take over my castles, instead of killing those war chiefs or whatever, the siege attackers, I hijacked those people. So I still got to do the Nemesis system stuff. I just didn't do it when I was under leveled. I did it when I was over leveled, so they couldn't resist. And then W was wrong about the ending. Actually, like he didn't see the actual ending of the game. After that, you're supposed to grind the game for another 12 hours. I'm joking. No, you're supposed to grind the game for another 4 hours. That was not a joke. Like because of how I was like Pink. Here's the best way I can summarize my experience with the game's pacing. It took me 6 hours to finish the tutorial because that's how long the tutorial because that's how long the tutorial missions last. Then I beat the game in 2 hours because that's how long it takes for me to reach the game's end goal, which is taking over all of the castles in Mordor. So I beat the game in 8 hours, 6 of which were the tutorial, and then I had to play the game for another 6, for another 4. Between the two, I didn't keep track of time that well, but yeah, between 4 and 4, I spent another 4 and fucking hell, I spent between another 4 and 6 hours, so that the game's story, which doesn't matter and is not told in an interesting way, can happen. But I've already beaten the game because the thing the game sets out as a goal for me is take over all of the castles. I've overtaken all of the castles, so I just walked to every single story mission and just did them. But yeah, and then after like that's the thing, it's I'm trying to remember what the actual term they used is, but do you remember how Ubisoft fired the guy now because he was a sex pest? But do you remember the one guy who was Ubisoft's like game director for like most of their games and who hated their narratives and was like, hey, what if we just make a bunch of missions but they don't make sense because there's no narrative and you just go and do them like however you want? Who gives a fuck?
Not really, but sort of.
Then whatever, that guy is the reason Watch Dogs Legion exists in the way it does, where there's like next to no content in the game aside from the reverse analysis system.
Ah.
Yeah, he's straight up the reason for that shit. And the guy must hate books. Like that guy doesn't want to burn books. He wants to go back in time and burn the first book so books won't happen anymore. But anyway, so I forget where I was going with this. Fuck. Oh yeah, Shadow of Mordor is structured similarly. In that like you have a couple of like mission like story like fucking hell. You have a couple of storylines that you can follow. The issue is, and I don't know if it's just because I'm not the biggest fan of the Lord of the Rings, or what, but I'm just gonna give less of a fuck about what's going on because like Talion and then like Talion is barely a character. Celebrimbor is a cunt. Eltariel, I think her name was there's an elf assassin who helps you in some of the missions. She's barely in the missions that are supposedly about her. The Warriors of Gondor storyline, I guess. I don't remember either of their names. There's this girl who you meet in the main story, and there's this guy who is her guardian. They barely matter, if at all. Like it's things where like if I was really big into Lord of the Rings and I just knew all of the places like the back of my hand because of how Tolkien described them, and fucking like I don't know if I knew all of the alternate universe stuff and then the fucking like the extended stuff that is not canon, because why the fuck would you why would you taint Tolkien's work? But whatever. Like if I was reading the Lord of the Rings and everything Lord of the Rings, then I may have actually enjoyed some of these. But I've watched the Lord of the Rings movies once because my friend really liked them, and I liked the video games. And I still think they're nice and all. Like I don't think they're better or anything. I just don't really care for them.
Yeah.
It is the same thing with Star Wars. Like I don't actively hate Star Wars. I just hate not being able to escape it. But yeah, so yeah, once I beat all of it, once I got all of the castles, there was like no real reason for me to do the story missions, in my opinion, aside from actually like getting the game to say that I beat it. So I did all of the story missions, and the game was like, no, you didn't beat it, because after that, like after the part that W mentioned, Talion comes back to life because of story reasons. Talion just comes back
That
to
was
life.
unexpected.
Yeah, Talion, like I don't know, it's kind of his whole character like basis that Talion dies and comes back to life, but legitimately Talion dies in a way that's like Talion loses his power that makes him able to come back to life, and then he comes back to life again.
You fools!
Yeah,
Who could have seen that coming? Especially after we took away his power to actually come back to life. Killed him, but now he's here again.
but no,
I don't follow.
they don't kill him again. What happens is so Talion's whole thing is that he was killed at Gondor. I think I don't remember which city it was, but it was in Gondor. But whatever, the Nazgul slit his throat, and then he got in touch with Celebrimbor somehow. I forget how, and Celebrimbor basically kept him alive. So and pretty much like it's kind of a thing of like Celebrimbor is possessing him, and that's what keeps him alive. And also maybe some type of curse, I forget. But with this game, Celebrimbor puts his life force into the new ring. That is not canon, but I'll talk about that. So Celebrimbor's soul is partially in the new ring, which means that he appears for the people who have the ring, kind of. Not really. I mean, like it's not supposed to work that way, but I feel like that's the way it worked by the end of the game. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so basically, Talion gets the new ring stolen from him at the end, which makes his slit throat open up, and then he dies from blood loss. And then he comes back to life.
Understandable.
Yeah. But so after you're done with all the narrative shit, and you've conquered all of the castles, and then Talion dies and comes back to life again. Then you're tasked with the grueling task of trying to defend all of the castles you've previously taken for 5 waves, and there's no story. It's just defending the castles. It's just 5 siege missions. No, not 5. It's 5 waves of siege missions. So it's like 12 of them. I don't know.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. So it's 12 siege missions, and that have no story. It's just whatever the game does with the nemesis system, if there's any story to it at all. And then the game ends unceremoniously. It's just like, hey, you finished the game now. The narrative story is finished now that you're like 2 hours after you actually finished the narrative story. Now it's done.
Congrats.
Like I suppose there is some level. Actually, I was misremembering shit because there is a minimal amount of character or like narrative development with the way the sieges are done, but like it's done in a bad way. So spoilers for Shadow of War, I suppose. Do you care, Pink?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. So what happens is Celebrimbor steals the ring that ties him to Talion off of Talion and gives it to Altariel, which is how Talion dies. And Celebrimbor turns out to be evil. The guy who was like, hey, enslave all of these orcs and then just use them like fodder in your quest to kill Sauron, turns out kind of evil.
Who would have seen that coming?
But yeah, so he steals the ring from Talion, gives it to Altariel. The two of them go and try to kill Sauron. They fail. Sauron does the fusion dance with Celebrimbor in the end. That's how he dies, kind of.
Uh-huh.
Then Talion comes back to life thanks to bullshittery. Like I could explain to you how he comes back to life, but honestly, I'm not 100% sure I understand. Oh no, I kind of understand, I guess. So before dying, Talion killed Isildur, who was one of the Nazgul, and he took the ring off of Isildur so that he wouldn't respawn. That is actually kind of the ill-known explanation. Because there's these rings that freaking Sauron gives to the Nazgul that makes them Nazgul for some reason. I thought that was kind of just his like power or something, but I guess not. It's a ring. Everything is a ring. It is the Lord of the Rings after all.
That is true.
But yeah, so Talion gets the freaking gets a vision of the big spider. If you remember her from last weekend, this big spider is like, "Hey Talion, I know you're kind of dead, but what if you turn into an Nazgul and then you just didn't die?" And
That'd be pretty dope now, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So Talion becomes an Nazgul, but because Talion is big anime energy, he fights off the evil powers of the Dark Ring that makes him immortal.
Ah.
And then he keeps trying to save Mordor from Sauron and Celebrimbor, which is supposed to be the siege battles. Now here's the thing that ruins this, because this is an interesting setup when you just lay it out like that. But according to the game, according to the dialogue in the game that sometimes appears, this goes on like Talion defending the castles from the waves of orcs goes on for years, and there is nothing in gameplay to show this at all.
Mm.
Like, you know, like there's not even a thing of like, oh, the game goes to a black screen and then it says like, you know, a year later or whatever. Like it could have been like, yes, it's a one-time edition, but if you want to do another thing where time jumps, then either show it on the character models or have it be pointed out in like you know, make it actually feel like shit happened, because like this was an issue with Assassin's Creed as well. In Assassin's Creed 2, you saw that with Ezio at like age 17, and then you went with Ezio at age 30 something, if I remember correctly. In Assassin's Creed 2, it's not entirely well portrayed, I guess, Ezio aging altogether. At the same time, Assassin's Creed 2 tells you the year whenever you load into the Animus, and also Ezio grows a beard.
Yeah.
So there's both an in-model showing of him aging up, as well as if you pay attention to the years, you know that years have passed.
Yeah.
In this game, there's neither, because Talion already has a beard, so he can't really grow a bigger one, I guess. And there's nothing that to show that time has passed overall or otherwise, because like. Because for one, I think the Lord of the Rings, like the way the time is told in the Lord of the Rings is stupid and hard to understand to lay people.
Right.
Which is fine, but you can also still just do a thing where the loading screens, like if I'm, because like the way you move between the regions is through loading screens, so just add a thing to the loading screens for the end of the game where it says a year later. Or like, you know, a couple years later, whatever. It covers your ass a lot. The more vague it is. But like, it genuinely felt like I just went to all of the like it said waves. It didn't like. That's the thing, I guess. That's the thing I'm caught up on, is that like it was just signposted badly. Because it was just waves of attacks on your siege castles. Okay, let's go and freaking anti-siege them or whatever the fuck. Just, you know, keep them safe. Oh, by the way, this has been going on for years. Like, since when? How?
That's a good question.
But yeah. There's other like narrative stuff that I just didn't like in Shadow of War. But like it was like it's a thing of like Shadow of Mordor was for from what I understand, because I haven't played through the game, didn't have the chance to really play through the game. I only played the demo, I think. But Shadow of War, or Shadow of Mordor, was a glorified tech demo for the Nemesis system, which was actually kind of cool, so people liked it, kinda. And the Shadow of War is the same thing, but this time there was microtransactions. Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, they took it out, I believe, for the most part, but like, you know, it's like the microtransactions would have been bad enough, but the fact that it's just Shadow of Mordor, which with minuscule improvements from what I understand, makes it bad. Because like I suppose the big thing of sieging castles is the big new mechanic, but it felt half baked to me. Like it was fine enough. Like, you know, it's a mechanic that you build a game around, but there was no narrative thing to make it matter to me.
Right.
So yeah, Shadow of Mordor, or no, Shadow of War, the Shadow of Middle Earth.
What is with the obsession of shadows?
Well, you see, you copied Assassin's Creed, so it has to be something with shadows, because the Assassin's Creed characters are usually like roguish.
This is true.
By the way, I just wanted to point out, now that I remembered, there's one of the ambient like dialogues orcs can have is just straight up talking about Assassin's Creed. Because why not?
Wait, really?
Yeah. There's the one of like I didn't hear the complete conversation. It was just snippets, but I heard the second half twice, or the second thing that I have heard anyway. Where one time a guy was talking to another one about how there's these people with the blades attached to their wrists, like, you know, tied to their wrists. And I'm assuming he was like, hey, let's try to do that too. And then the other one was a dialogue where I overheard them saying they're assassins. All of them are assassin. Yeah, they have some sort of creed. Like, just straight up.
Yeah.
Like, the only way they could have made it more obvious if they were both yelling in the freaking the text to speech yell voice. Assassin's Creed by Ubisoft, copyright trademark. But yeah, so I did that. Then I also played some Smite just alone.
Oh, nice.
And I had a real nice occurrence, because I had to play with like, you know, actual, like, I had to solo queue once again after 3 years of not solo queuing, and I had a fucking anxiety attack. It was great. Like, I remember that one time that I had one of those on recording, and that was also great. Because you can hear, like, I stopped trying to commentate, and I was just freaking explaining to the two of you what the fuck's happening in my head. Because I couldn't think, like trying to commentate and also trying to suppress that, and also playing the game was too hard. So I stopped trying to commentate to focus on the other two. Like, I remember, it was the first time we played Siege ranked.
Yep. I knew that was what you're talking about.
And then the same thing happened today in Smite, which makes no sense, because there was like in that one, in the first case, I can understand it happening, because like there's an obvious trigger there of, you know, we're trying to play ranked, so you have to play good.
Right.
What the fuck triggered it this time? I've solo queued Smite before. It shouldn't do this, but it do.
Right. That is kind of an interesting one.
Yeah. So that was fun. It was also really fun that, like, I don't know if there has been like more new people coming into Smite, or whatever's happening, but like, I think I played 10 or so games because that's the amount that I had to play to actually get the Odyssey missions done. And I feel like there were 3 games out of the 10 where there wasn't an asshole in our team.
Yeah.
like bad mouthing during a freaking match seems to be at an all-time high. Just from judging from my experience of playing the game for a couple of months back in 2018 and then now, which it's probably wrong, but it's very very weird that now like all of a sudden it just starts being a problem.
Yeah, that's pretty nifty.
And then I don't know what to say about Smite that hasn't been sped. It hasn't been sped. Yeah, that's not very fast. So what else did I do? Let's see, because I don't remember either. Well, I did. I did draw something. I drew many things. I drew many things, but I'm only sending you one picture because that's the best thing that came out of those sessions. So I've noticed that sometimes I've noticed that other people tend to color their lines, and I didn't really want to try doing that because I'm lazy and it takes a lot of time even with vectors, because the vectors you can technically easily recolor, but selecting them is a pain in the ass.
I believe it.
But this time I actually tried it out, and I don't know. What do you think?
It actually doesn't look bad.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like, the thing is like on one hand it feels a bit like pop art or whatever. On the other,
yeah.
On the other, this is probably the best drawing I've made so far. So then again, that's partially because I put all of the detail into the gun. I
can see.
I am proud of that gun because it looks it doesn't look like a real pistol, but I freaking I got no reference for that, or for any of this really. But I got no reference for the gun in particular. So the fact that it turned out that good is surprising.
Right. Yeah.
I also wanted to point out like you can tell, like, okay, so this drawing was supposed to be a part of a bigger picture. But after I was done with sketching out Danny, I was like, you know what? There's too much detail for me to actually try and like draw other things as well. So I'll just finish this. So I just wanted to point out Danny's hands, the fucking like the big man hands he has on the gun, especially.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's probably on par with Kirby's legs when it comes to being cursed. I don't know how you feel.
I don't know. They're not bad. They're not quite at Kirby's legs level yet.
I mean, it's like in this one, it's not that like that's the thing with Kirby's legs. I tried to make them disturbing. With this one, it's just too detailed. Like okay, well, too detailed is I suppose in the eye of the beholder. Like it's not realistic by any means, but like it's just a thing of I tried to make every part as detailed as I could, while also making things make sense. And the heads just turned out particularly detailed compared to the rest for some reason. Yaoi, that's the reason. I don't even I don't even know what Yaoi is. I forget. Like,
Neither do I.
I feel like it was explained to me before. Like I feel like that there was I used to read an anime magazine, but back when I was first doing the big weeb, and they would explain like stuff like that, like what moe and yaoi and bishi and stuff like that meant. So I probably know what I probably know what yaoi means, but I don't use yaoi as a word, so I don't really know. All I know is that it's big hands, something big hands.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I also pointed out that this was supposed to be a part of a bigger picture just because of the like I don't know if the what should I call it, the perspective makes sense without that context.
Right, right.
Because like yeah, the god maybe the god is supposed to be bigger to or closer to us, or maybe doesn't one doesn't just has one very big banking hand. Uh,
I think the perspective actually kind of works in its favor at the moment because it's not totally accurate to what realistic perception would give it, but because it's so much grander, it kind of fits the character of Danzaburo.
yeah. I mean, like the god's like size makes sense because Danzaburou is a raccoon. So
Very true.
so the god
Very
would be
true.
bigger than the god would be a slight bit bigger than Danzaburou, or well, not bigger, but it would be like
Right.
it may be
It would be
as big
very
as his
large.
chest.
Yeah.
The thing I'm not sure about is the head. Like I think the head may be a bit too big. Makes
Yeah, a little bit, but it works.
uh, I just noticed this. So Pink, if you look at the one big ranking hand, do you
Yeah.
do you find it humorous the amount of effort that I put into everything but the like the two bottom fingers wrapping around the gun. They're just tentacles.
Just tentacles at this point, yeah.
The best part of that, I have no clue how to fix it, so it's gonna stay that way. Uh, but yeah, I'm checking really quick to see if I did anything else because I feel like I've drawn other things, but I don't know even if any of them are like of particular interest. Really, I feel like I did something that was like funny, but then I don't know. So hey, whatever.
Hey, hey.
So I guess that was my week. I suppose with
Very
that
nice.
we can probably call this a podcast.
All right.
Well then, uh, I'm used to now that we do fighting games are pretty regularly. I'm used to just having like a side off thing on these podcasts, and I'm just like
Right.
I was waiting for you to start doing the sign off thing, and then I remembered. Oh right, wrong podcast, asshole.
Fink doesn't know how to sign off.
I mean, the thing is, like, even if you did the sign off thing, it wouldn't be weird because the sign off thing for fighting games are is just fighting games were. So the man has been shot. That's the
Right.
that's the sign off for this one. The shot mount has launched.
I can't even decipher that.
It's if you translate it to enough languages, it summons Cthulhu.
Maybe, you never know.
But yeah. So yeah, we'll call it a podcast, I guess. Bye.